I have to run up like I'm collecting the bounty. He blocks it, hits me, and then clotheslines me or bumps me on the floor. We did that 12 times, which was a rib on me. They're probably ribbing Goldberg, but I'm laying there going, could you stop ribbing Goldberg? I'm bleeding out of my eyes. Bill took his gimmick seriously in the vein of, I want to be a hero to children out there. I want to be able to be a role model. But dare I say it, like if you say like, while getting beat up by The Rock and The Rock getting heat on me will not make me look like a hero, but I'm going to wear this blonde wig from this freaky character and then politely say, no, thank you, instead of killing him. I don't get it. He was angrier at me and I was working with him. So I don't get it. Now, here's a theory or a question about your theory, because nothing these people do, especially when I didn't know the information you told me, because I would just thought, oh, this is a fun segment. If it was this week, I refused to put The Rock over by letting The Rock get heat on me. And then a week, now the way they work, it's not the next week, but anywhere within the next 2 to 3 weeks, out of nowhere, here comes the backstage pre-tape with Goldust, which is automatically going to break that super serious Goldberg character standing next to this. You're already watered down instantly. No offense to Dustin, but it's not the right time for that kind of comedy. But Goldust just didn't put the wig on Bill out of nowhere, because Bill would be like, get this off me. Let's do it again. That was directed. That was on purpose. That was a receipt on Goldberg. That's my thought. What's your thought?
You got to give him some personality, pal. Get the wig on him.
We make our money up here.
Just, do you also remember the time when
I hope
think
that's
Goldberg
not how Vince got the idea for the mystery woman.
Oh, were you?
It was between myself and Goldberg. The dress didn't fit him.
Yeah, I think his Goldberg was out of the business by that point, so it was just you left, pal.
Can't believe I was still in it afterwards.
Do you remember the time when, and just like Goldberg was working against himself, it seemed that everyone was working against Goldberg. His car was working against him. Because do you remember the time when like The Rock escaped? No, not that one. That was WCW, and that wasn't his car, it was a limo. In Raw, Rock is leaving, running away from the arena, gets in a truck or whatever and leaves, and then Goldberg, and I think it's his car, it's like a classic car, I don't know what it is, but it's a muscle car, and he gets in, the engine won't turn over, live TV. So he gets out and runs after The Rock, who's already long since disappeared.
I don't remember that. He at least should have said, oh man, he open up the hood and say he took my battery or whatever. And they left it in there.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then there was Jericho, the incident with Jericho that ended up in a bit of a headlock and a skirmish. Just everything happened within 3 weeks. As a fan, I couldn't, and I obviously didn't know this as a fan, or most of it. I was watching and just thinking, how could WWE screw him up so quickly? But it was almost like they're on turbo drive to ruin Goldberg's character immediately. I didn't get it.
Well, the funny part is, if they took care of his character back then, imagine when he comes back once to twice a year for matches now, how much that legacy, it'd be like Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper protected himself. There's the difference. Goldberg came in the first 3 weeks. I don't know why. That's so strange. You would be so disagreeable about The Rock getting heat on you, building towards a match at Backlash, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yet you're so agreeable to having the Goldust segment in general, but then letting him put the wig on you. That's so strange that it would be so juxtaposed.
But then he would also tell Kevin Nash that he'd make fun of Chris Jericho, and they had residual issues from when Goldberg... Do you know where that stems from? I can give you this brief story.
No, I'm not sure. I may remember, but I don't remember now.
Well, I think Chris Jericho or Goldberg, it was said that they were going to have a match or something like that, and Chris Jericho just basically on his own started making it more interesting by leading up to it weeks beforehand. trying to make a story of it, and then he'd get like a midget playing Goldberg, and he beat the midget at one of the pay-per-views, and then Goldberg saw that, and because he didn't know what he was doing, said, "This is terrible, he's making fun of me, we will never ever work." Instead of what he was actually doing was Chris Jericho was more than happy to be murdered by Goldberg, but it was just something to spice up the eventual match, and he didn't understand it. And he didn't understand, apparently he didn't understand wrestling in WWE either, because he was turning down everything he shouldn't have turned down, and then he was doing everything he shouldn't have been doing. And Triple H hated him. And we haven't even got to that bit yet.
I'll tell you what, if Rocky said, I'm going to get heat on you for our pay-per-view match, come on, get me. Hit me harder, you son of a bitch. That's me. I'd be selling I would sell for the amount of time Hogan did for Vince from WrestleMania 19. I'd be laying there 20 minutes, kick me again. The cash register would be going off in my brain every time he hit me. Let's do it again next week. I don't care. We're taking it all around the country, brother. That's it. But that's
20% down pay-per-view from Backlash 2003, from Backlash 2002.
Let me make the point about the Jericho-Goldberg thing. That's an indictment of the power plant, of the people that taught Goldberg, and the people that failed to smarten Goldberg up on this is how it works. And you'll end up getting over. If I remember correctly, didn't Goldberg beat The Rock at Backlash? So there needed to be heat going into the pay-per-view.
Well, the thing is, I think pretty much most people knew that The Rock wasn't sticking around after that anyway, so he had no intrigue, he had a horrible build, and Goldberg's character was killed within 2 weeks. Or, his aura was greatly diminished. So you already knew the result with a guy who wasn't the WCW Goldberg anyway. So I find it amazing within 4 weeks they managed to just confirm it, that Goldberg was either apparently washed up, or how they presented him. They presented him as not as good as the WCW version.
Well, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Here's a WCW guy. We're going to make him look less than. Then years and years later, we're going to try to build him back up after we destroyed him. And people didn't forget that. So I'm looking at this. You want to know that this was like a 2-stage burial here. Not with The Rock. That was the setup. So you're talking about the Goldust wig. Who was the next program Goldberg had after The Rock?
I don't know. Who was it?
Triple H.
Oh, Triple H.
No, I was a part of that because there was a $100,000 bounty on Goldberg, and I was one of the few people in the beginning. He hit me. Dude, we did a take. It must have been 12 takes. We're at that set where the box truss is and the monitor, the backstage interview area. They're interviewing Goldberg. I have to run up like I'm collecting the bounty. He blocks it, hits me, and then clotheslines me or bumps me on the floor. We did that 12 times, which was a rib on me. They're probably ribbing Goldberg, but I'm laying there going, could you stop ribbing Goldberg? I'm bleeding out of my eyes. Because I took a full back bump on concrete because they had it framed up to where I hit. If it was off camera and tight, hopefully it'd be a crash pad. No, I was taking a real bump every time. And that was just the beginning, because here I come. I never got enough Goldberg. I'm going there. But that was Triple H, was, I believe, right after The Rock, was that. So he was definitely set up to fail.
I also think that Triple H, because didn't they go into that SummerSlam and Triple H was injured? Because I remember he was wearing like those like long compression shorts.
He tore his quad or glute, or he tore something. I think he tore a hamstring, and he was wearing bike compression shorts under his tights. He was in, I give it to Hunter. He was in the Walls of Jericho, blew his quadricep, finished the match. He was super injured here, and his body, his physique was suffering. So it was getting to him and his pride that he didn't look like top shelf athlete. But man, he fought through that. Whether you like him personally or not, which obviously we don't like each other personally, I give him all the credit in the world to work his ass off and get in the ring with Goldberg, knowing you're going to get injured, but you already have an injury. So maybe that's why he did it. How much more can you hurt me?
Yeah, I don't think he particularly took any time off at that point either.
No, he didn't.
Right.
Not at all.